So welcome. First, an introduction of what we're doing here. We're meeting Dr. Alvaro Fuentes, who comes to us from Ecuador, born in 1986. I'd like to just say that it seems like you hit the ground running as soon as you were born. It's like you went boom and just kept right on going. Currently, Dr. Fuentes holds the position of research professor at the Core Research Institute of Intelligent Robotics and the Department of Electronics Engineering at Jeonbuk National University here in South Korea. And in his role there, he serves as the research group leader of the Multimedia Laboratory. Correct me if I've got any of this wrong. Additionally, he collaborates as a fellow at the Trustworthy Ai lab at SNU, Seoul National University. He is an invited professor at the Postgraduate Institute of Técnica del Norte University in Ecuador. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. There's more. And so we're just going to look at January, start with January of this year. Okay, because there's a ton of stuff that Dr. Fuente has produced in his what is this, 86? So we're at what, 39.
30, about to be.
About to be 40?
39.
Very short time. So, and if you want to know more about Dr. Fuentes, you just Google him. There's a ton of stuff. I think, Andre, you found there was a lot there, predominantly in Spanish, I believe. But
we'll put a link in the video as well.
Good.
And just we are not products of Dr. Fuentes' research. We are not.
We could have gone with that, though. We could have just said nothing, but now the truth is we are not.
We have to be honest.
All right. Okay. So yes, if you do want to find out some more information about Dr. Fuentes, you can by Googling him. But so we're just going to give you a taste of who we are chatting with today. In January this year, Dr. Fuentes delivered a workshop for the KOTESOL Busan Gyeongnam chapter on the topic of frontiers of AI in education, which was second presentation for the same chapter that you did one in the fall of 24, I believe.
Yes, October.
Yeah.
A follow-up presentation.
Right.
People like it, so I offer and.
You're that good that they call you back to do the same presentation again, almost.
Online.
I was online. Right. And then, while most university professors are out enjoying a beach somewhere, Dr. Fuentes took the winter break from his position teaching advanced intelligent programming at Jeonbuk National University and became an invited professor at the Postgraduate Institute Técnica del Norte University in Ecuador, teaching a class on business intelligence as part of the Master's in Business Administration program there. I think we talked briefly about that online when we did our pre-interview. And then still in January, he became an associate editor at Frontiers in Plant Science, Sustainable and Intelligent Phytoprotection, and delivered a keynote talk, Frontiers of AI and its Applications in Smart Agriculture, at the International Congress on University. There are 11 pages here. I'm not going to read it all. Development Symposium on Engineering Science, hosted by Universidad Estatal de Quevedo.
It's Spanish.
In Ecuador, yes. How's my Spanish?
Good.
Okay.
French.
Yeah. So then he followed that with a webinar on artificial intelligence in business at the Graduate School of Técnica del Norte University in Ecuador in February, followed by his research on utilizing farm knowledge for indoor precision livestock farming, time domain adaptation of cattle face recognition, being published in Computers and Electronics and Agriculture in March of this year. Yeah. Then I assume that he became too busy teaching classes at JBNU because he does nothing for almost 3 months. Nothing. Until May. when he once again starts turning true to form. He hits the ground running. In May, he takes on a new teaching role as a keynote speaker and as a featured speaker and as a panelist, and publishes 3 research papers in 3 different publications. And finally, he slows down a little bit to only publish 1 research paper in June. You sick?
Yes.
Oh. So his the most recent that I'm aware of, this is the multi-camera fusion and bird eye view location mapping for deep learning-based cattle behavior monitoring, accepted for publication in Artificial Intelligence Agriculture in June. And he did seem pleased about that last paper when we talked, being accepted for publication. When Andre and I talked with Dr. Fuentes mid-June. Yeah. And that's just before you handed in or headed off to attend the Green CIS 2025 International Symposium on Advanced Technologies and Management for Sustainable Greenhouse Systems in Almeria, in Spain, you're right. Which brings us to today. Whew. Is it hot in here?
According to those who are speaking.
So good morning, Dr. Fuentes.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the very kind introduction.
I only scratched the surface of what you've done. So really, my first question, before I even get to the list of questions that I'd love to ask you, is like, how much coffee do you drink on any given day?
1 cup?
No. I think that
I drink a lot of water and tea.
You're a healthy guy.
I try to.
I think also you don't just sit at a desk and do research and write papers. You actually get out and bicycle.
Yes.
What else do you do outside?
I ride a bicycle, I do swimming, running, meeting friends, talking about interesting stuff.
What kind of interesting stuff do your friends and you talk about as you swim and bicycle and run around?
Topics that every PhD student, for example, suffer, and things like how research is going into different fields. I have friends from different backgrounds and different stories, and there's always room for learning or thinking about how to implement things in this way and that way, how to solve this problem.
And you began in Ecuador, and then you went to Germany.
Yes.
And then Germany, I think you maybe did some stops along the way before you came to Korea.
Yes.
So you actually have connections literally around the world.
Yeah, I throughout my career, I met a lot of people, I met a lot of friends, and I also live in the Amazon jungle, and I travel in a lot of countries in South America, backpacking or just for fun, to explore things in my own area, and in Ecuador as well. So then I came to Korea, and I met a lot of people from this side of the world, including Southeast Asia and Africa. I have some ideas that I want to implement over there as well. So I hope that comes in the future.
I'm still hung up on living in the Amazon jungle, but okay, that's I guess for another interview. That sounds fascinating.
So what are you currently working on?
So I do research a lot on AI, but the fundamental AI, let's say algorithms for computer vision, trying to improve those who are already designed and make them better. Because this AI technology or tendency has been developed in a very short period of time, let's say, or it became popular since around 2012-13. And I started studying this area in 2014. And a lot of things happen in between, a lot of changes. Researchers, people are doing their best to improve those models and make them accessible to people. So I'm also involved into that area, trying to improve, trying to design more statistical, mathematical methods that allows those models to become robust enough to deal with problems in the real scenarios, real situations. For example, if we put an algorithm in an autonomous vehicle or in a robot, the robots will be able to explore different environments and behave in the same way, in a robust way as the model that was designed for. And then I try to apply those concepts into different fields like agriculture for autonomous crop monitoring, plants with robots, machines and drones and different devices that we applied in smart farming. similar concepts in animals for animal behavior monitoring. Currently monitoring what cows do, their life behavior, normal behavior, assess their welfare, and understand their complex scenario when they don't rest enough or they walk too much, they drink too much water or they eat too much as the amount they have to eat, and then have a clear assessment of what they do. So I have those ideas that I designed there, and it's been quite successful progress in that area as we have designed pioneer research in the field.
That's that's not just ideas, because didn't you apply and get a patent on that in Korea?
We have patents and we implement those models, we apply them, people are using them, especially.
That's fantastic.
And I'm also currently involved since about 5 years ago designing things for medicine. So I work with doctors in the hospitals to collect the data set that wasn't available. And that system basically tries to understand the complexities at the cellular level, the cells, and potentially help the doctors to make decisions on prevention of diseases or predict the diseases way before they happen.
Wow.
And of course, these days also working on robots, trying to make autonomous robots and machines that operate autonomously in different environments. And I also try to involve into other initiatives like education. That's a passion that I have for a long time, and trying to teach AI not only at the university, PhD, master level, but also at the elementary school, middle school, high school, where the knowledge should be leveraged and a skill that empowers people to make things better.
That's amazing. So most of the research that you've done has been applied in Korea or internationally?
Yes, it's been designed and implemented in Korea as the base, but I do have a lot of collaboration with other countries. And I just came back from Spain, where I tried to implement the models that we designed here, maybe test them there, and other countries as well. And I have collaborators of potential ideas that I will implement in Africa, where scenario is totally different. They don't have probably access to that advanced technology that we have in Korea, but we try to design simple models for simple devices that support people in there, and as well as in Latin America, where I come from. So try to support researchers, and I'm also interested in wildlife monitoring, where we try to track bears in the Andes Mountains and see what they do, how they behave, and how to protect them.
I just want to go back to to a second there about in education, and you did that presentation on frontiers in AI in education, and you talked about applications, I suppose, or frontiers in Korea. I'm just wondering whether those frontiers are any different here than they are, say, in Africa.
Yes, probably different.
In how so?
In a way that we have in Korea, we have access to much advanced technology and internet. The speed of the internet is very fast. If you go to Africa, there are some rural areas where there is no access to internet, not even electricity.
So how does AI even exist then in those contexts?
That's, I believe, the challenge. And people discuss that these days we have that AI that's robust enough that big tech companies are designing, implementing, and universities are also working. Countries like Korea, some European, North America design, but there is still people who even don't have access to electricity. So then how to design those models that allow that people also to get access and benefit from this technology. And these days we discuss, and there is a new term that's called physical AI.
Physical AI?
Physical AI, where we try to design AI that works in small models that, for example, chip devices that consume few energy, that could be applicable in different areas. That's a challenge in AI, because we say in AI, it's a big model, it's a huge model. We need lots of data to train those models, as well as computing power, leverage them, put them into the field. But then we go to the point that the real application where people they don't have access to that. So we need to design simple techniques in simple devices that consumes few energy and that solve the problem.
So if I get if I correct me if I'm wrong here, but so you're talking about chip or device of some kind that could just operate off of light.
Yeah.
But then if it's AI, so obviously then it's not using like large language models or anything like that. What kind of AI would be in that?
Yeah, so there's different ways to connect the AI. So one, it's that you design the model, you put them into a strong computer, let's say, computer. That computer costs, I don't know, thousands of dollars. And then you connect that computer through the internet or cloud computing to that specific device. You send the information from the device to the computer makes the response, and then you analyze the data.
Right.
That's how things are done these days.
That's what we see, yeah, here.
But if you don't have access to that technology, the device itself should make the decision. For example, if you design the device and you put it into the field, into a farm, that device should cut the information, let's say a camera, a device, the processing unit process the information and then retrieves that information. Let's say the cow is moving certain amount of steps.
Right.
But it consumes few energy because it can recharge maybe with solar electricity or solar power or things like that. So it's a challenge because those small devices don't have the same computing capabilities as big ones. So there's a new tendency in AI, trying to design physical things, small things that operate in a low and cheap way, but it's still difficult to compete with the big computers.
There's a lot to compute right there, what you said.
If I put it simple, big computer has a lot of devices, right?
Yeah.
GPUs and CPUs, but that costs a lot. Small computer has small memory. So
you could have many small to do anything a little bit larger?
It's possible. The AI models are big.
Right.
They need these big computers. So how to design those AI models at that scale, but still perform well as
Right.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you did the, sorry, Andre, I'll let you in a minute, just a second. So when you're talking about the facial recognition, which I'm just thinking that's been around a long time, and you've applied it in a different way with monitoring cattle or crops or whatever it is you're doing. But that facial recognition is it plausible that facial recognition could be integrated into these small? Is that too big of a task for such a small solar-powered little device, maybe in a country where there isn't internet?
Yes, it could be difficult. It's quite challenging. It's even, for example, there is facial recognition for a long time research, right? It's using certain algorithms where expert knowledge is required to design the patterns and what facial patterns are required to recognize the face.
Right.
And now deep learning came, and it's this part of AI where you put images, a bunch of images, and then the model learns to recognize certain patterns from the face. But I applied those models, and we design new ones to understand the face of animals. So they have different patterns. We need to understand some cows that have horns, for example, nose and eyes and parts of the face. And then the cow, when it's very young, and then throughout the time it will change the face.
Right.
So we also need to fit the model with more
aging, you mean?
Aging as well. And it's in a very short period of time. So that happens within 1 year.
Right.
So we need to recognize the same individual over time. And then so we did a lot of problems. But if you put that information into a small device, still challenge. I think it's more like a dream these days. We will try to implement things at small scale, but still far.
So that facial recognition soon. That facial recognition, I'm thinking about that now. It's telling you whether the cows are happy or sad or healthy or in estrus or whatever the case may be. Why can't that be used in a classroom, now maybe there's some legal issues here, but to facial recognition, sort of analyzing the same things, whether a student is feeling off or sad or sick or attending to what's being said or being distracted. Could it be applied that way, or would you?
It could be, but as you mentioned, there could be concerns of people being recorded all the time.
Right.
Because what we do is we put cameras and we design the methods that target one objective. We follow that objective over time and monitor their symptoms, their behavior, their stress. Mm-hmm. And through the facial recognition, we know which individual it is.
Right.
If we do that for humans, there's a lot of concerns.
Right.
There's countries even that do not allow cameras in public spaces, as in Korea.
Sure.
Because you need to be aware of that situation.
Right.
And so especially for education. So we do have some cameras in Korea.
Yes.
Recorded.
Yes.
They are only for security purposes, but not like in terms of recording people's behavior. So it's a challenge, but it's an applicable technology. And personally, I faced challenges at the beginning where we tried to even implement the systems for hospitals. The elderly people be recorded, but they don't like it. So, but there is other devices that could be replaced. I mean, instead of using cameras, there could be other devices.
For example?
For example, these watches that use motion sensors that allows people to be recorded without being recorded by cameras.
Right.
Huh. So a lot of interesting things.
Really interesting stuff. I don't know what toys you played with as a child that brought you to this place, but I'm sure they were interesting too.
Learning every day, essentially, yes. Trying to learn and trying to understand the problems that happen around us and find solutions to solve.
Actually, it's I was just mentioning to Andre in the car on the way here that one of the things that really impressed me about you is, I mean, you're doing this stuff that's big, and I would think it would be, it's complicated and it would cause some tension or stress, but you're a very mellow guy. Like you seem like you're perfectly relaxed. And is that an Ecuadorian thing, or is just you're?
I believe it's a part of my culture. Yes, like you
were right
to enjoy the vibes, the people. We are very warm people. If you just visit Ecuador, you will notice that it's not only Ecuador. I would say the whole Latin America, as a whole part of the world, people are so open and warm. And
you do remind me of my Spanish uncle, look-wise, and also he's like the most beautiful, gentle, kind man. He's just about 90 now, but always his life, he's just beautiful soul.
I'm curious, how do you adapt to Korea? Because in Korea, everything is really, really fast.
Yes, very fast, but I don't know, I think I faced a lot of challenges at the beginning. So once I started my educational process, I studied in Ecuador, and then I tried to explore some educational systems and moved to Germany, where I got a chance to learn the European style of teaching, where I also faced difficulties understanding the way that Germans or Europeans behave, like saying things very direct. And in Latin America, we tend to find paths and find ways to solve the problem. They're very open to any solutions. And then I came to Korea, where things move very fast and you need to do things quickly as possible. But that was I'll say the very challenging time for me to adapt to this culture. It took me about a year, where I basically understood how things move here, and without noticing, I was involved into that place. And then these days when I travel abroad and I see things that move sometimes a little slower than Korea. Yeah,
you've adapted.
That.
Yeah, I find the same thing when I go back home. Yeah, it's like, why are you guys moving so slowly? But I mean, judging by your output, you've really you've hit the pace. You're on the Korean pace now.
Yeah, I'll say like I like what I do. I enjoy what I do, and things come naturally. So.
Right. And then how do you see this fitting into education? Because I mean that's why we're here.
Yes.
We're in that field. So
Yes.
we're wondering, how do you see AI in education developing, and what do you think needs to happen?
Yeah, so it's a complex, I'll say, season or stage that we are facing these days with the new trends of AI and generative AI. There's different types of AI, but the one that's causing a lot of discussion these days, we call it generative AI. Those are models that are trained in big scale with great scale data, mainly designed by high-tech companies. But then those models that have a lot of information are being developed at different applicational levels as well. Then we have the chatbots and things that students can use or any people can use. But the problem happening these days is that we have a lot of tools available and people might tend to feel overwhelmed because too much information, too many things, and teachers start worrying that should I use those tools to improve the education level of the students? The students also need to, try to use those tools sometimes to even develop their assignments, homeworks. But there's also students who try to use those tools to improve their knowledge by themselves, self-education. But I believe it's a challenging situation these days. And from my perspective, I've been learning and I've been studying and I've been involved into different initiatives for education for sustainable development. And the concept is that we need to empower people to be, for example, critical thinking or thinking about the problems in a local way or acting in a local way, but thinking about globally. Learning a new language is also one of the tools that we need to keep in order to communicate with people with different backgrounds, cultures, and even different fields like transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary. If you are from a different background, I am from a different background. We need to communicate, and that's one of the hardest things to put two people from different backgrounds and to solve a challenge, and from different perspectives. So I believe that teaching teachers and teaching students on the effective use of technology is required. What kind of technologies can I use in my classroom which are effective for the students and that students enjoy? Are the main challenge these days as well. But if I put you simple, it's like a receipt. When you design and you try to design or implement a new recipe for cooking, you say, okay, does this work? Is it effective on the students? Do the students enjoy? And then it comes like the application. If that doesn't work, then probably it's too much, right? So I need to keep designing or implementing the old style methods. So I believe AI is not in a way, so to say that it makes things more difficult, but it should be used in a way that it can help teachers to improve and leverage their skills.
I think part of the problem is that there's no precedent. Like everybody's doing it this the first time now.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you're saying is there needs to be some kind of experimentation almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should be, we can teach the students to be aware of the situation, like know what AI is and how can you find AI these days. I believe we also need to put them into, let them explore hands into action. To, for example, use some algorithms, facial recognition, or chatbots that are available. And then we also need to teach students the ethical part. The ethical part. Be concerned or be aware of that ethical concerns, like how that technology can harm people, how that technology affect into several contents, like including self-learning or be reliant into that technology.
Well, most of the access that students have are to LLMs, basically.
Yes.
But I mean, it sounds like you're saying there needs to be a focus on the back end part as well, like the algorithms and.
Yes, there is. We know LLMs because they became so popular for about 3 years ago with ChatGPT. But there are a lot of things apart from LLMs. We have computer vision models, and we have signals models. But if I put it in a simple way, there's this platform that's called AI for All or AI for Good, or AI for Kids, where there are movements of people who design contents and curriculums to teach kids what AI is. And you took images from, let's say, I want to design a method to classify images of fish. So the fishes with different colors, you put the images, and those are online available tools, so we can use them free. You took images, you put them into the model shows the way how it learns, and then it gives you a response. So the kids learn that if you use this model, you can get the response. But there is concerns like if the model learns too much information from one species, it will forget the information from the minority species. Then you need to understand the concept of bias. Models tend to learn information from data at the larger scale, and data at small scale sometimes will be forgotten. So concepts like bias in data, ethics in AI, but also all the complexities of data-driven processes, including computational power, how AI is being involved these days, how I am recognized by a camera when I am being recorded, or things like that. So there are a lot of tools and materials for teachers they can use. We can use for teaching the kids what is AI and how to use it.
It sounds
and then
like
to be critical into the.
Yeah, it sounds like you're advocating for an AI course in an education system, like for example, public education system, teaching kids how to interact or what AI is, the back end, and then how to interact with it. That's what you're advocating for.
Yeah. I try to do it. I haven't collaborated yet with teachers in that field. That's my intention as well. But I did work with university students from different backgrounds, even sometimes from medical part, from psychology, from mechanical. Sometimes they are very new freshmen. They don't understand the AI concepts. They have never used. Sometimes they have never seen a computer in a way to do coding. Then I try to implement and try to teach this concepts. And by the end of the period, they know how to use, they know what good data means, how to collect the data, what data is needed for my application, for my research area. Or the kids also can learn that way. I believe so. And I'm very much interested about designing curriculum or programs that show these concepts to teachers, but also to the students, because the teachers are going to teach the students. And there is this concept that we long ago worked on sustainability, or education for sustainable development, where we had this program. It was called Learning to Teach. So first you learn, and then you teach. So the teachers learn, and then they teach. So that's how knowledge is being distributed.
Is that an established program already?
It was, it was part of a master program with cooperation with Germany and Ecuador, where I worked. And it was a successful. I was student and I assist professors. I learned those topics at that time. And we tried to teach the university professors on sustainability because they didn't know at the time. For example, engineers don't know how can I apply sustainability in my class of electricity, for example. But there are ways to teach students. If you design a circuit, if you design a system that it's economically viable, and in terms of ecology, social impact that technology might have, then the students get that information.
It's there are categories or divisions, or I guess you could call it, of linguistics, peace linguistics or applied linguistics, which is what I studied. But I guess there would be an area. It would be part of that AI linguistics, I suppose, where you're teaching teachers how to teach sustainability or AI or
AI.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of it's to do with simply awareness. You mentioned earlier. That struck me. I thought that's really even with this. I mean, I think for the teachers, I totally agree. With the students, they're very familiar with computers, but not for learning or for having for understanding how it works. They are more, it's entertainment, a way to spend time, I suppose. So opening the door, showing them that it is a tool, teacher's perspective as well as students' perspective, that it is a tool that that can help them understand the world around them a little bit better. It's very cool. I'm curious whether you are looking for, it sounds like sort of qualitative research, classroom research. Sounds like is there something? Is this something you've started, or still sort of a germ of an idea?
Like I started this. I've been always involved into research,
Sure,
practical research or applied research, and that's one of the points why I stay in Korea that long, because it's a very nice ecosystem with a lot of people try to cooperate. There is always innovation. There's always knowledge that's coming around, and people who want to do something in their fields in terms of technology. But I like the education part, and sometimes people try to forget that the importance of educating people on the even simple things like what is AI. And many people curious in some of the presentations I give, people ask, will AI take over my job? That's still a question.
sure, yeah.
But then if you teach people the real concept and try to make people be aware of the situation, then we might, support people's critical knowledge.
Right.
And in terms of education, I still try to work. That was part of the KOTESOL, in which I was very glad to participate. And it was very challenging for me because I could have the chance to talk to real teachers who are with kids with different levels, right? And from my perspective as an engineer, as an applied researcher, or as a researcher in the AI field, and I try to teach concepts of education. Some people say, "Oh, you are an engineer, you are coming to teach me education." But then I explained that I have passion, and I also studied education before, and I consider myself a person who likes teaching because I really enjoy it.
So what did you learn from that experience at the KOTESOL International Conference and presenting?
Yeah, there was people from different countries, different cultures, and different perspectives. Like there was a person I met from UK, living in Japan, and after that we start kind of collaboration. So I wrote an article about AI in education.
Wow, very good.
It's a journal, and we're going to publish it. And I try to find other collaborators even in Korea and curriculums. And as part of KOTESOL, I hope I could have I could find people who support the ideas of designing curriculums and extend those curriculums and make series of presentations and try to teach teachers that simple things and tools that could be applied into their classrooms and effective tools.
There you go. The teaching teachers is something that Andre has talked about. Training teachers, you're the GKT.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right. But how would you start something like that? What would be the first step?
The first step, there should be the interest of people. We need people who likes working, right? And if there is a common interest, we can start designing curriculums. There is concepts. Simple way how to explain AI. Not in a technical way, in a general, simple way of designing a concept that people can understand. Not engineers, I'm talking to general people and different levels and students. And then make those a series of curriculums and teach people, make series of webinars, make presentations, make gatherings of people and discuss
raise awareness.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
yes, I believe so.
As far as the application for students, I mean, is there something available already that students can interact with?
Yes, there are. I mentioned the movements or the platforms AI for all, AI for kids, K-12,
Yeah.
and AI for oceans, for example, just to my mind. And there are a lot of curriculums already implemented, and one of the good initiatives is from the government of Finland, for example. There are curriculums that teach teachers to teach AI in education, and those are established already programs. Another is a lot of efforts made by the UNESCO, United Nations,
Yeah.
UN, and a lot of materials on AI in education. So curriculums and materials that teachers can use to show the students the AI effects, the awareness, the ethical part. And and in terms of regulations, if we think about regulations, there is not much established regulations, but Europe has started, like trustworthy AI, for example, concept of trustworthy AI in an ethical way to make people trust the technology that we are using, but understanding the complexity of the models in a way that people can understand. And Korea has also implemented recently an AI Act. It's called AI Act, and where they try to set some guidelines on how AI should be implemented. But still, I believe people are working, but we need. There's still a lot of things to do, especially in education. And I point out the Finland initiative, and then we have the UNESCO ideas that teachers can.
We've got some great sources there. I think the AI for all, and AI for K to 12, and AI Oceans. I think it's all from Finland, correct?
No, no.
Oh.
There's different countries, different initiatives.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I presented those ideas during my presentation on KOTESOL, and even I try to show how I use them in my classroom. And in a simple way, I'll tell you, in every class that I teach, even for masters and PhD students, I have this idea that I show them an image, I took the photo, and I tell them to write a conceptually, describe the image, focusing on the objects they have. And then I use an AI model to do the same. And then I compare. Responses given by the students, responses given by AI. And then I do the reverse part. I use the responses from it, responses from the students, and I generate an image.
Right.
Which one is more accurate? The AI description or the student description? You generate a new image and then you say, okay, I need to refine these things to make it perfect and applicable.
Right.
And then I measure the quality of the data, the responses. But I was actually very much concerned about that because these days, there is, and recently I read an article where people say that from the researcher perspective, we write articles, and some researchers used AI in the article.
Sure.
And there are cases where journals show that people made a mistake and forgot to delete the AI, like ChatGPT tells you, this is your response.
Yeah.
And then the journal published it. But then I read this article that says people use AI to write the articles, and then the reviewers use AI to write the review,
Right.
the response.
Yeah.
Then what is the point? And the same happens in schools. The teacher sends the assignment, the students use AI to write the assignment, and the teacher use AI to assess it.
Right.
Then I talk the case like, I just imagine the case. There's two students, student A and B. Student A used AI to make the assignment. Student B didn't use AI to make the assignment, normal way, but maybe has some mistakes and failed. And then the teacher tries to save the assignments from both students, probably the AI one will have a very structured way
Yeah.
and polish language.
Grammar will be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The other might have a lot of mistakes. Then AI will assess this one as a very well structured
Right.
assessment, assigning 10 over 10. And the other one will say, you have a lot of mistakes, this is the grammar, and then you have
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Yeah. How fair is that?
How fair is that?
Yeah.
Is that ethical? No. So
Right.
I believe those things should be noticed.
I think there's a lot to be discussed and a lot of awareness to be raised about on the whole subject. Just before we end, I wonder whether there's anything that you would like to say before we close on AI in education. Although you've said an awful lot, is there anything else you'd like to add before we end?
Yeah, I believe. I believe, or I try to think that AI or technology is just a tool.
Yeah.
That depends on us how we use it for our convenience or not, or to improve certain opportunity or certain problem that we have. Or as humans, we can also use that technology to make danger, right?
Right.
But we should be aware of the technology that we are using and the way how we use it and the effect that it will have to others. So ethical concepts, awareness are important.
Very good.
People trust on what we do.
Ethical use and awareness, ethical awareness.
Yeah.
Great thoughts for us to close on. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you so much, and I really hope that we can find any more opportunities to discuss these topics.
I'm really hoping that we do. Yeah.
Collaborate among teachers, people in Korea, other parts of the world as well, then use this technology effectively and teach kids, which are the main object.
I love how you think.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was great meeting
Thank you
you.
so much.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.